Well, for more on the situation in Syria, let's speak to Sinan Hatahet. He's the Deputy Executive Director at Omran Centre for Strategic Studies. Joins us now. Sinan, good to have you with us. So, as I've just said, Bashar al-Assad has said that these cessation offer a glimmer of hope for peace. How should we take his words?
Well, not serious enough, it seems, because the regime forces has been the first forces to actually breach this very volatile agreement in the first place. And it happened just an hour after the announcement of the cessation of hostilities.
Of course, rebels have violated it as well.
No, actually, to be honest with you, the opposition groups has shown a great restraint so far, and it seems that they are committed this time to respect this agreement. And as actually one of your previous reports have shown, people are actually asking for the cessation of hostilities. They'd like to return to their homes, re-establish their old habits and so on. And the opposition is very fragile and very sensible to these demands. So far we haven't seen a breach from the part of the opposition groups. What we've seen on the other hand is breaches made by the regime forces, and yesterday also by the Russian air forces.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, as you say, it's a very fragile situation. What do you see the next steps then in this fragile peace? Do we just have to continue with everyone trying to hold the line? We need to get back to talks in Geneva, I assume.
Well, the resolution number 2254 of the Security Council states and indicates a very clear let's say timeline for peace building in Syria. The first step has been established, which is the cessation of hostilities. If it's perceived and it succeeds, and actually it's very difficult exam, or it will actually be translated into a new round of talks in Geneva, in which there will be talks about the creation of a new government body that gather both regime and also the opposition, and eventually also the call for a new new elections, as well as also a new constitution.
Absolutely. Well, just if there is peace that holds between the opposition and the regime, do you think that people will be able to stomach having Assad in power for, I don't know, another year longer, if they turn their attention to groups like Daesh and al-Nusra and take on the terrorists in the country?
That's definitely not enough. The fighting the extremism in Syria is definitely one of the top national agenda on the national agenda, as well as on the international community. But when it comes to the Syrian people, they need to see that Bashar al-Assad has left Damascus and has left power, especially since it was the start and the catalyst of all this issue in the first place. So this has been actually a demand that was clearly formulated by the Higher National Committee for Negotiations, and it will be a point that will stress throughout this negotiations rounds in Geneva. And if the international community, among also the other also regional powers, fail to push Bashar al-Assad out of Damascus, the problem will just perceive and find another forms to propagate throughout the regions.
Absolutely. Well, Sinan, fascinating as always. You have to leave it there.